All right, happy Thursday night, everybody. Welcome to the daily broadcast, brought to you in part by Domino's Pizza and the good people at the Shropshire Agency, independent, just like you in West Texas. We'll let a few folks get in. You know what we do, the early arrivals. You let us know the audio is good, the video is good, everything else like that. And then we get ready to get on down the road. What do we do after that? Well, you can share that with the people you love. You can let them know we're talking Texas Tech, things of West Texas nature. I don't know, either or Thursday, whatever it may be that matters to you. That's what we're talking about tonight. And that's how you get on the text line. United Supermarket sponsoring that. You can get in just like on YouTube and on Twitter. Just hit the comment section. We'll get that. We'll bring it to you. United Supermarkets, by the way, your Super Bowl headquarters. Yeah. Everything you need waiting for you right there. Whether you're cooking out, going out, anything else, they've got you taken care of. All right. So tonight it's either or Thursday, as you well know. We give you a tough question. And tonight we're talking about what's harder to win, the Super Bowl or the World Series. The Texas Rangers finally winning a World Series. What's harder to win? Either the Super Bowl or the World Series. You tell me why. Texas Tech men's basketball, a lot of discussion on that tonight. Obviously, coming off back to back losses. Now what is the question? What do they need? They need one thing. We'll tell you what that one thing is tonight. And then favorite Lubbock bands from the 80s and the 90s, the local bands you love. We're going to talk about music. I put on the website today, theraiderland.com, hot links section. The coolest thing you're going to see every day is the hot links in Raiderland. And I linked up a live performance of Junior Medlow from the 90s at Stubbs Barbecue. And if you don't know who Junior Medlow was, you're missing out. Rest in peace, Mojo Nixon. Absolutely, Elvis needs boats. Great, great musician. Mojo Nixon and Skid Roper. NASCAR channel, great show. Man, too young, man. Too young. Mojo Nixon, awesome. So get your comments in. Brought to you by United Supermarkets. Get us on Facebook Live, normal way. Damon is checking in. Ryan is checking in. Clay is checking in. You guys are ready to go in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans. All you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt. TheRaiderland.com, the website. We give you great columns every day. We give you great stuff, hot links, and more questions to sound off on everything we do, including Round Ball Rewind after select Texas Tech basketball games. And the basketball games, the last couple of games hadn't been so select, but it's not as bad as you think. We'll get into that tonight with Tech basketball. We want to hear from you. We're brought to you tonight by the Shropshire Agency in Lubbock, Texas. Check out their Facebook page, very interactive. If you are on a church board, here's what I want to talk to you about tonight. Even if you're not on a church board, it's getting harder and harder for churches around West Texas, the great state of Texas, to get quality insurance. The Shropshire Agency can help you with that. Go to your board. If you're on it, go to the agency, Shropshire Agency, and they will help you navigate it. There are so many huge companies right now that are just telling churches, no, we don't want to have anything to do with you. I'm not going to get into the details. I'm just telling you right now, Shropshire can help you. If you got everything right at home and everything right with your business and your church ain't right, they can help you. Hey there, Alan. Hey there, Celia. Hey there, Chuck. Let's get it going tonight. Shall we? Let's do it. And my friends on Twitter, my friends on YouTube, you can hit us up in the comment section. So fire away on that. Brought to you by United Supermarkets. Harder to win, Super Bowl or World Series? Which one and why? Texas Tech basketball. And this is going to be a bounce back and forth show tonight. Free fire, wherever we are. We're not going to lock in on this for a while and this for all. No, we can do whatever. So you guys drag me where you want to drag me with your questions and comments. But I'm intrigued that, we have so many Chiefs fans in our audience, obviously with Patrick Mahomes and the Tech connection. And then the Rangers finally win the World Series. What do you think's harder to win? In this day and age, the way the two sports are set up, what's harder to get done? Too many country stars passing, says Chuck. Keep my eye on Gary P. and Joe Ely. I will. I always do. Right up there. Hi, Joe. Gary P., the last I heard, he's actually doing quite well. He went home with the armadillo one too many times, but he got vaccinated for it, so it's okay. World Series appears harder to win. Potential to play up to 21 games in the Major League Baseball playoffs. That right there gives me the first inroad to say, yeah, I think Major League Baseball is a harder championship to win. Now, you can talk me out of it if you want to, or you can agree with me. I don't care. But what Alan is talking about is what you've got to go through after 162 games. And you build a team to win 162 games one way. And then now I've got to play these short series another way. It's much like we talk about the College World Series, that to get into it and get a great seed, you've got to be built for the long haul. Then I've got to win a regional, which is basically, like a 4-team, whatever. And then I got to go win a 2 out of 3. Then I got to go back and win another regional. Then I got to win a 2 out of 3. I got to be set up to do 3 great things to win the College World Series. Major League Baseball is getting that way. Should it be that way? Could be a good question. World Series harder, lots of luck involved. I don't know if it's luck necessarily, Clay. I see your Rangers logo there on your avatar. I don't know if it's luck. And there's always luck involved. There's luck involved in any championship ever in the history of ever. There was some luck along the way. They had to get lucky. But what's tougher and why? Winning the World Series or winning the Super Bowl? We look at the NFL and Super Bowl eras, and we seem to go through obviously Patriots, what we're seeing with the Chiefs right now, here and there, spotted in some teams, but the NFL has always been about seemingly teams winning. Since since Major League Baseball, what do we want to go to? The 90s? Yeah. Yeah, probably the 90s at some point. It got away from the idea of well, okay. The last dynastic team was the Yankees of the late 90s. We can all agree on that, right? So since then, over the last 24, 25 years, it's become a little bit of a crapshoot. I don't know. You tell me what you think is harder to win and why. The structure of it. Because to me, the structure of an NFL team right now, in a singular year, we're talking a singular year, it will translate for the most part regular season to postseason. And I say that full well knowing that if you're taking the Chiefs, by the way, you're saying I'm going to ignore what happened in the regular season and I'm going to look more at the postseason, and I'm going to ignore what happened in the regular season for the Niners and say what they've been since the Christmas night massacre against Baltimore is not a great team. I get that. That's recency bias, small sample size, extrapolated out, short term, long term. But for the most part, right, the Chiefs were a good team all year long. The Niners were a good team all year long. What you did, what you do translates in the NFL. It doesn't always translate in Major League Baseball. So there's my thoughts on that. You can weigh in right now. I hope you do. Get it on the comment line if you're on YouTube. If you're on Twitter, it's easy to do. Just type away, fire away. We'll get your comments. We'll find out what you're thinking tonight on this or Texas Tech basketball. And we can get into some Texas Tech basketball discussion as we go through right now. What do they need? What's the one thing that Texas Tech basketball needs? Oh, and don't worry, we're going to talk about Lubbock bands before we're out of here time. Your favorite bands in the Hubaplex, 80s and 90s, local bands. I'm excited to see what you bring to the table on that. But what does Texas Tech basketball need most right now? Anyone? Bueller. You lose a couple of games. Here we are. Not quite mid-February. We're getting there. What do they need? Hold on, I got something on my contact right here. That can't be good. They need to win. Okay, yeah, they need to win. They need time. They need to get healthy. The margin of winning in the Big 12 is this much to the good side, this much to the bad side. They've been on the bad side of it. You need to get over the flu. They need to get Washington back out there. They need to get healthy. I mean, literally, they're flying down there to Waco, and it's like 2020 again, and they're all wearing masks on the plane. Like somebody needs to tell them, hey, the masks aren't going to help. You're still going to get sick. Not going to help. But whatever. Nobody got the memo to the Tech basketball team on that. It's not going to help. This team just needs to get healthy. Whether they had been sick or not, the margin of error is so small in the Big 12 that's all it really takes. Now you take out components, major components of this team. You're not that good that you overcome it. I thought they did a great job, and this really encouraged me. The first half, let's go back to the first half down in Waco the other night, and the small lineup and what they did schematically. And it only worked because they were out shooting Baylor by a massive margin perimeter. And you knew that was going to regress to the mean, and that was going to change. But that should, if you're a Texas Tech fan, give you great hope in the NCAA tournament that, you know what, Grant McCasland and his staff are really good at adapting to moment and setting. And this is what we have to work with. This is who we're working against. And this is what we can do. And it worked longer than I thought it would work. There's no way you can put those guys out on the floor for 40 minutes and expect that kind of performance against a team like Baylor and Waco. Well, the great thing about the NCAA tournament, you don't play in Waco, and you won't play Baylor until the Sweet 16 at the earliest. But again, this staff continues to impress me with their ability to adjust. A lot of staffs try to put square pegs in round holes. This is what we do. We don't adjust. You're going to fit. You're going to do this. This staff came in, looked at what they had to work with initially, have morphed it over the last couple of months, and continue to make adjustments. The first half of the Baylor game, to me, was about as good a coaching job as I've seen Texas Tech do all year long. What do you mean? They were still drilling at that? Yeah, they were. Tech staff, great in-game tacticians, helps they have team buy-in too. Yeah, and the team gets it. The team understands how to do it. And they were executing as well as they could with what they had in the first half. You just knew it was going to regress as the game went on. And I wasn't surprised the way it flowed in the second half and everything else. So, yeah, now you got a multi-game losing streak. You come home, you got 3 out of the next 4. You win 3 out of the next 4, 2 out of the next 4. You are hoopshd.com, 7 seed right now. That's fine. I still think the upside at the end of the year could be the 5-4 line, and that's the goal for this team. Survive Big 12 play, just like the ACC back in the 2000s and the 90s. Maybe the Big 10 years ago, the Big East, if you want to go back to the 80s and the 90s, that you live through this league. You good teams will have 7 and 8 losses, 6 and 7 losses in league play. You live through it. You get better. You maximize what you have, and then you get a halfway decent seed in the NCAA tournament. If you can get the protected 4 seed, great. 5, fine. 6, that's all right. I'm not going to worry about it with this team because I think by the time they get to Big 12 play, they will be so tempered and tested that the first 2 rounds, you will absolutely play teams that are inferior to what you have seen for the last 2.5 months. And Tech fans need to understand that and realize that and not get caught up too much in the game to game. We watch the games. We enjoy the games. We want them to win. We want them to do well. We want them to play well. But there's a bigger deal. And that's why I always focus you guys on hoopshd.com and bracketville.wordpress.com because they don't live necessarily in the moment. Now, they will give you the real-time what we call still RPI, but they'll give you the real time. Where is this team on a seed line? Where is this team tournament projected? But what they do is they actually project everything towards the final end all be all, which is the NCAA tournament. Ken Palm doesn't do that. Ken Palm is today, what do you got? Barbara, I can't believe how good the teams are in the Big 12. I can, because for 10 years, this league has been funneling money, all the programs, into the coaching, into recruiting, into arenas, everything else. Makes sense to me. They looked around and said, we can be great at this. And they have. 10-8 in the Big 12 would be 13-5 better in other power leagues. Agreed with what Alan's saying right there. 100%. So it sucks losing. But again, so you're 13-5 in a crappy league. Would you rather be that? Would you rather be, 14-4 or something in a crappy league, and then you're getting bounced in the first or second round because you hadn't played anybody? Not me. I love where Big 12 basketball is right now. I love the fact that it's hard to win in the league, and that your team, if they can just get to the NCAA tournament, and they will. Brought to you in part by the Shropshire Agency. Independent, just like West Texans. Find out what they can do for your business. Holy crap. Jim Brockman showed up. That's what you want. All but 4 Big 12 teams would win the ACC or the SEC. I agree with that statement. That's not a crazy out-you-know-what statement right there. Agreed. The ACC is average basketball right now. Do you think Houston is far and above the rest of the league? No, I do not. Otherwise, they would have gone into Lawrence, Kansas, and blown them out by 10. No, they learned what everybody else learned when they went up to Kansas. This is a hard league night in and night out. And you go into places, you get behind a little bit early, and you get your ass run out of a gym. No, Houston is a very good team. I think Houston is one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country. But I think that's the strength of the Big 12, is that you have places like Kansas, like Hilton at Iowa State, like Lubbock, Texas, where if you don't show up, you're going to get showed out, baby. And the other thing for Houston, they're still learning how to do this as a program night in and night out. Night in and night out. Houston used to have to do this 2 or 3 times a year. Now they're doing it 10 to 12 times in Big 12 play. Totally different. Talking about the new teams and how good they can play. Well, yeah, of the new teams, yeah, I think they're better than anybody else. UCF shows they can play. BYU's solid. Cincinnati, well, you saw what they can do, right? They're like a miniature version of Baylor, I think, without the program history recently. But yeah, the new teams, Houston, by far and away, I think the best. I look at Houston, I look at UConn right now. After that, maybe a Kentucky. But I look at Houston and UConn, and I say those are 2 teams that have 2 different gears that most teams don't have, that they can drop and do something on. Kentucky offensively can go to the next gear. Houston defensively, when they're really good defensively, they can defend so well. And Kelvin Sampson is an underrated coach, no matter what you want to say from his days at Oklahoma or otherwise. Purdue is fraudulent every year. Fade Purdue, second round on. 100%. Matt Pater, they're all fraudulent. I would take Wisconsin, and they've got offensive issues, and we saw that the other day against Purdue, when all they had to do was make 1 or 2 3-pointers in the second half. They beat Purdue. They couldn't do it. The Big Ten, so pedantic. Pedantic. That's wordy. Pedestrian. But Purdue runs everything, moderately through talented post player. But again, they're going to lose second or third round. Was it the game in Waco? I think Isaacs was bothered by fan torments, visibly frustrated and huddled during time. Now, he was frustrated because he couldn't get open, Gary. The fan torment has been going on. I think you're overestimating that. He was frustrated because he really wasn't getting some good looks. And he wanted them to run some screens. and maybe alter the offense a little bit, and that wasn't going to happen. And it wasn't going to matter because you didn't have an inside game that was forcing them to sag down. So what he was getting was coverage on the outside where you would normally have help off on the inside. You had help off on the cuts and the back cuts on the outside. So he was frustrated because of that. Didn't have anything to do with the fan thing. He's dealing with that all year. Text loaded. Text loaded are a little like baseball for you. Fan panics. Basketball fan understands. Oh, are we talking about text losses? All right. So basically, what I think Danny's trying to get at is, football guy can't handle baseball, and football guy has a hard time with basketball sometimes too. Basketball guy has a hard time with baseball sometimes. Baseball guy doesn't understand track. Actually, I've never said that out loud before. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You panic. I don't know why they should, but they do. Let's talk about your favorite bands, local bands, 80s and 90s, Lubbock, Texas. I put up today on the Hot Links section, Raiderland Hot Links. You guys check that out? I hope you do. Give me some hearts. Give me some thumbs up. Let me know that you guys check that out on the website every day, theraiderland.com, because we scour the internet for cool stuff. Too tiring. And we always try to close with some local music or something else. Today, I put Junior Medlow on there. I hope you guys went there. If you didn't go there, I hope you did. Now, the whole hot links thing, I'm trying to get you guys to start sending us cool links that we can post the next day. But I hope you're enjoying what we do. Too much running, can't throw far. Well, yeah, that's bad on the track part and bad on the field part. Jared says World Series harder to win requires consistency at the highest level over a minimum for games. But I really want you guys to take more ownership on some of the comment sections on the website. I love you guys coming out here in the evenings. That's great. I want you guys to be commenting, sharing, putting it out there every day, theraiderland.com. So we do the hot link section, and that's me going through every day and putting up links to stuff that I think you guys will find interesting that you might have missed because you're busy and working. Now I like to put a kicker at the end. We call it kicker in the business. That is West Texas related. You damn right you will take ownership, future Commissioner Dalby. And today we put Junior Medlow on there. Now I don't know how many people remember Junior Medlow from the 80s and 90s. One of the great early 2000s. An amazing voice. He sang with a lot of different bands, different stuff. So put that up there today. And I said, let's talk about great bands, local bands from the 80s or 90s. So in the time we got basketball to talk about. You can get on the text line. You can hit us on YouTube, hit us on Twitter. Just type away your comment. We'll get you there. It's not hard. You got thoughts? We'll hear from you. That's what we want to do. But your favorite local bands of that era. Now, I'm thinking back, like when I was at Texas Tech, and I'll throw one out here, like Eddie Beethoven and the Sons of Fun, which never had more than the same 2 or 3 guys playing at the same time. Blues Thunder, stuff like that. Elvis T. Busboy and the Blues Butchers, John Sprott. So, your favorite bands of the 80s or 90s. We could go back to the Nelsons, to the Planets, how far back you want to go on some of this stuff. But I am intrigued what you got. A kicker at the end is when all my kids are in bed, but then the 3-year-old acts like she double-barreled some Red Bull. Dude, I'm with you. I'm on the back end of that. We're done with the now I got like a high school senior who comes in like he's on a Red Bull. So 2 a.m, son, you're going to school tomorrow, aren't you? He's going to bed. I'm like, I gotta get up and pee for the 3rd time. Elvis with a nightcap at the 24-hour pit grill down there in beautiful Arlington, Texas. Collins Avenue. So yeah, some of your favorite 80s bands. Mention the Nelsons, 90s as well. The ones that played around. How many people remember the Texas Bel Airs? Anybody? Anybody that's with us tonight remember the Texas Bel Airs? They would get into a fight halfway through the night, break up, and then might come back and play some more or not. The Guys Next Door, I auditioned to replace their singer. I was their favorite, but they broke up. They just broke up rather than go with a new singer. Yeah, so you killed the band, is what you're saying, Danny. And you auditioned, and they said, instead of working with Danny, we just quit. Let's see what happens there. Yeah. Let's see what it is. And we had so many great musical venues back in the day. Main Street Bar and Grill, stuff like that. Hold on, everybody. Welcome him in. David Collier is watching. Guys next door, their rehearsal site next door to the Nelsons rehearsal site. Ah, that's pretty cool. See, I didn't know that. I wouldn't have known that. That's good trivia right there. The Guys Next Door. Let's see some other 80s and 90s bands. We had Blues Thunder. We mentioned that one, which was really good. Mike Pritchard and the Cat House Band. Throughout Eddie Beethoven, the Sons of Fun. I'm trying to think of really like niche late 80s, early 90s stuff. You guys can be some of the others, through the years if you want to. But if you did not go to the site today, please go check out the link to Junior Medlow. The cat, he passed away several years ago, and just, unbelievable voice. It was just another example of how much talent was around here. I liked Little Texas. Little Texas, a country. Little Texas, yeah. There were a lot of in the 90s, not so many. The kind of the new country, Texas country, red dirt stuff really didn't get going until the late 90s. So you didn't have a whole lot of those bands of that ilk around here until the 2000s. There weren't many like that. Which is why I give you the Texas Bel Airs. Yeah, you could give Ely early 80s, more 70s local. 80s after that, I wouldn't give him local. David, I'll listen to you because you pronounce Nietzsche niche. Thank you for that. Yeah. Niche. It's a niche. It's a niche. It's a niche. Well, you can have a niche, but you have a niche within the niche. I think it's what you're trying to say. I'm getting confused now. You have a niche band, a niche era, but it's niche. Get the hell out. Aren't you supposed to be on TV, Collier? Aren't you supposed to be getting pictures put together for everybody to enjoy? Wouldn't that be something nice for you to do for everybody tonight in America? To give us pictures that we can enjoy. All right, I gotta figure out what's for supper tonight. Maybe some popcorn shrimp. Sounds kind of good. Why not? Unless it's too niche for you, David. Got to end the stream first on the people that are out there. In the stream, yes, not yet. In the stream, yay.